The financials are in the packet. I do have a little thing that I'll run through under discussion items with my site reservation systems, just how our finances went as far as running through them and camping finances. That was included in your packet last month, but we didn't have a meeting. But as far as the financial update, is there anything specific I can answer? Otherwise, I don't have anything.
Okay, no questions. We'll move on to new business.
Under new business, can we add number 3, the potential parks shop? Potential parks shop. So new business number 1, regular meeting schedule. The 2023 proposed meeting date would be the third Tuesday of every month, following the commission meeting. We don't I didn't see any conflicts on any of those days. I do have a list of dates if you want to see them, and I gave a list to Beth, but they're the third Tuesday of each month. I did talk to Tim Hagan from the meeting that regularly meets after this, because I know we're kind of in a time crunch to get commission meeting, this meeting, and dispatch or emergency dispatch meeting or whatever that may be. I know that he told me they're looking at moving that meeting to quarterly. And I did, I mean, it's up to you guys. I can do whatever, but talking around to some people in the office and talking to Tim, if we wanted to look at having our meetings at 9:15, move his to 10:15, just if we think we're worried about them being tight. Obviously, today's meeting, it wasn't an issue. But also something that as far as the meeting dates, all we have to approve is meeting dates, right? As far as regular meetings. Meeting times can be changed as the years go on, but just something to think about them. I do know that that time crunch of that meeting is going to be lessened because that dispatch meeting is going to probably move to quarterly instead of every month. But we would need to approve these dates. It's, like I said, the third Tuesday of every month. Anybody?
Okay, is there a motion to approve 2023 regular meeting schedule?
I
So
can make
moved.
a motion for that.
Okay, Shanda, is there a second?
Second.
Steve, second. Any discussion? Discussion, roll call vote.
Steve,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Shanda,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Okay, Lake Loop Trail.
Yep. So we had part of the master plan. We have some trails we're putting in at Blacktail. They're non-motorized trails, and I've applied and received 2 different grants. We've talked about them before. The first one's the Lake Loop Trail, which is 3.4 miles, which would go all the way around follow the outer loop or the outer road. That grant is the TAP grant or alternative transportation grant, and that was a 75-25. The other grant was through Garrison Diversion, and I called it the Blacktail Beach Trail, and that's just from the outer loop down to the beach to put in a non-motorized trail there. I applied for the Garrison Diversion grant for that, and it's approximately estimated at about $80,000, and that Garrison Diversion they give you up to 25%. So we got approved for $22,000. But with both of them, they would like to see approval by this board that it's that you guys are okay with us building those trails. So and I talked to them and I said, well, we've worked on this master plan and this is the plan we've approved moving forward for all of it, but they wanted it specific to the individual things that we applied for. So if there's no issue, or certainly can ask and answer any questions, but I'm seeking a motion to approve us constructing the trail around Blacktail and the trail from the outer loop to the beach next year.
So Jeremy, with that in mind, I'm sure you plan on putting signs up that non-motorized trail.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else we can do to enforce that?
try to, I mean, I've also been, looking at putting up, some type of fencing, especially at the entrance areas, whether we put in posts that we can, just right to keep people in. I mean, it's gonna be hard. We're not gonna be hard to fence the whole thing all around, but the areas where we enter into it from off the road, and then just keep adding to that when we find out other places where they join onto the trail from there. But I also think part of it is part of it is also making sure we provide a place for those ATVs and dirt bikes to go. That's been something that has been out there for a long time, and if we just swoop in and say, hey, you can't do this anymore, that's just not gonna go well. So we have to make sure we provide them a place to go and something that they can enjoy and have fun, wherein hopefully they'll be respectful and realize that this isn't the place for them to go.
Where's it gonna run to get to the swimming area?
Yeah, I'm imagining that when you're going down there on the south side of the road when you first make the turn, and then it's gonna have to get to V when it gets to that teardrop, and then I'd imagine we have to cross the road and then go in, yeah, into the middle, in whichever side we go on there. I mean, but we're gonna have to go into that middle teardrop, because there's just no room on the outer, if you go around the outside of that teardrop or on the outside of the road. But we're gonna have to go on the inside of there.
Looked pretty cool going right down the middle.
Oh, just right down the middle too, right? Well, I mean, and
That would probably take care of some of it because on both sides of that, there's a lot of traffic and vehicles, and you're gonna end up fighting that battle with trailers and pickups and everything parked on the trail. But if you could find a way down the middle of that thing, it'd be pretty neat.
it would be. And also, it is our intention that, on the map, if you look, for us to start cutting into that teardrop across this road from the beach, cut in there a little bit more and put some campsites in. So maybe that would be I mean, I think there's definitely not just with that, but the loop around, there's going to be things and decisions we have to make, because there's some areas that are going to be, and even there's going to be some contentious areas where people aren't going to be happy about it. Places that are parkland that currently people are using as their own. And I think there's going to be different battles we're going to have to go through on that. But I mean, all of it will be on parkland. But I agree with you. I don't think there's a set path going down there yet. But it would be kind of cool to cut through there. Maybe you might want to see one of those 2 million pheasants that are in that area right now. There are so many pheasants in that one little spot.
Is there a motion of approval of these two projects?
So moved.
James?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Discussion? Roll call vote.
Brad,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Shanda,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve.
Yes.
Okay, item 3.
Well, we've been, since I've been here, we've been kind of talking about a shop, or, I guess one of the challenges we face is my office is here, our mechanic is out at County Highway, and then our shop is at Blacktail. And just Blacktail being north and predominantly the rest of our stuff being east, definitely causes, need to try to be as efficient as possible. We do the best we can with our guys, hey, let's plan ahead tonight. We know we're going to Little Egypt tomorrow. Let's not run to Blacktail in the morning and then go to Little Egypt. But sometimes it's just hard when that's where your shop is. So always been looking around, and one of the things that I was instructed or given the idea was, hey, we're more and more down here where we bought facilities close to this building. Might be a good place to look. I did find a shop. I went down and looked at it. Keith and Corey was around, so he went with me. But I took Keith from facilities with, and they wanted quite a bit more than what it was probably worth. And then since then, I told him no, and now he's been calling me back with maybe being more open-minded to getting the assessed value of it. So just wanted to discuss it among us and figure out what direction we want to go, if this is something we want to continue to pursue. Oh, square foot, well, The assessed value, or the value that the county has set at it was, I think, 285. At the time, he was asking for 75. Was it
It was over 5.
Was it
Yeah, it
575?
was in the mid
575. And when we went down there and we left with Corey, Keith, and I, we were all kind of like this is more like $300,000 was kind of what we thought. Square footage was, I don't remember. I'm not,
It's a decent sized shop, David. The part that I thought was nice is the location, obviously, because it's right across the street from the county shop that we have for Keith, the downtown one that we purchased last year, with some outside storage. The lot is tiny, there's no question, and that was part of the reason that we thought it wasn't worth as much. But it would get the guys inside. Probably be some renovation that would be needed on that building. Maybe an overhead door on the south end, so it could be more of a drive-through. But if they're down in the assessed value or appraised, obviously, I think it would be worthwhile to at least think about it.
the location is the biggest selling point for us. Like I said, we have a lot of inefficiencies having our shop where it currently is. And it seems like a sturdy building, seems like a good building. Said there's a couple, there are 2 overhead doors, but one of them's would be tough to consistently be a drive pass through kind of thing. It'd be better to put in somewhere else.
So you're saying it was directly across the street from the shop that Keith has?
Basically, just
And-
a little bit to the west, but really where the new fenced yard that Keith, and it's kind of right across from that. It's the old Big Sky.
Well, the reason I ask, because, of course, we have the sheriff's department. I mean, you're talking about outside storage. I mean, it looks like, it would seem to me it would fit, even if you had to put some stuff outside in the other 2 locations.
Mhm.
So I guess in order to proceed, if that's something the board wanted to entertain, they'd have to have a motion to enter into a purchase agreement subject to appraisal, which would be a Karen thing, so if that's, what's the wishes of the board?
It fits your needs?
It does. Like I said, the biggest thing is we need it's got enough place to store our stuff inside. I'd say we have more place to store our things than we do at Blacktail now. The Blacktail building's huge, but that south side of that building is 6 months of the year is committed to the residents at Blacktail as storage. So we only have the shop, and then with that shop, even we still have stored their loader, the association's loader, and our space up there, even in the winter, to just store stuff is pretty limited. We
It's a-
definitely keep some stuff outside that I would prefer to have inside.
It's a heated building?
What?
It's heated, not,
Yep, it's heated. Yep,
has water and,
yep, has water, has restrooms.
structurally wise, it's sound? I mean,
Look like it.
other than, what'd you say, some garage doors or something?
We might need to redo a couple of things, because possibly putting a garage door in on the south end of it to make it a drive-through, because there's offices, which is really not needed. Keep the bathrooms, put garage doors in there, it could be a drive-through. The yard's small, but like I say, I think it would fit the needs of Parks real nicely, and being where it's at, you don't have to add the skid steer and all the snow removal, because it's all sitting right there anyway.
Yes, being able to share equipment with facilities just eliminates so much of that other stuff we wouldn't need.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we have Jeremy and Commissioner Hanson negotiate a sale on the property with not to exceed a budget of $400,000 to include any repairs that needs to be done on the structure to make it feasible.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
I was just wondering what would become of the Blacktail building then if you were to move
I think it would still get
Downtown.
used much like it is.
for
It just
storage?
wouldn't, it just wouldn't be where our guys go whenever they gotta get everything. I mean, we still, I mean, Blacktail, especially with all the improvements we're gonna make, it's only gonna need more. It's gonna end up just being a shop, you know, it's gonna be the shop that's gonna be just for Blacktail. And not that we can't get other stuff, but it's gonna be a point where we're gonna need to have, instead of having all of our mowers moved around, there's gonna be mowers that just stay there, equipment that just stay there. It's gonna be, I mean, those changes we make are gonna make that a really nice park.
Further discussion? Okay, roll call vote.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Shanda,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Okay, item E, My Sites reservation system.
Here I have I printed off the copies of what I had in the packet last month. Just wanted to just wanted a quick run through it so you guys kind of knew where we were at. If you look at the bottom set of numbers on the left, for entire camping we budgeted 59,500. Our gross revenues and camping fees were $60,500. So we were right on there, and you can look at each park individually and see where we were. Obviously, you know, Little Egypt was the one that was a little bit higher than everything else, or higher above budget. And then the other thing you can see if you look down to the fees to My Sites, 2,400, and so further on the right, $2,428 and change. So having to pay them out did kind of put us below our budgeted goal of 59,000, but still kept us pretty close. I feel like that $2,500 was well spent as far as the ease of our customers to use it. I'm not gonna say everything was easy. There were some headaches along the way, but we're getting better and better with it. But then also you can just see how much our camping revenues have gone up in the last few years. You know, I mean, we've just consistently increased. I think it's twofold. I think there's multiple reasons. I think it's better, you know, both more people are camping and it's been better policed. I think, but either way, I think that using the on-site reservation system it's not perfect yet, but we're going in the right direction. But just wanted to include this so you guys had an idea. I know I included in the packet, but we didn't have a chance to talk about it. So I'd certainly entertain any questions. Otherwise, it's my intention to stay with that same company and move forward and try to get better next year.
Okay, Parks update.
I'm just gonna go through a couple things quick. Blacktail we'll start with for sure. I did attend the Blacktail Association. I don't know if it's their annual meeting or what it was. A couple weeks ago, they had it here at the library. We did talk about quite a few different things in regards to the master plan and what was going to happen there, and just alleviating some concerns about us trying to jam pack as many camping sites as we could get in. You know, I mean, that's not the intention. The intention is to put the right amount of campsites in there and make it fit and make it a good experience for the campers. Also some concerns about all of a sudden having lots and lots of cabins. It's like, hey, cabins are something that people up here more and more use. We want to get into it, but it's not our number one priority to start tomorrow. Kind of ease into that. Otherwise, in the master plan, they're all really excited about all of it. We did get off that topic and get into more on the roads. Got a little contentious, but I think that we're moving forward. I've met with David Truckner over the weekend, and and I met with Dennis Nelson, and David and Dennis have gotten together. The reality is Dennis, his equipment, they run on the pavement, and they're going to go out and they're going to do County Road 10, they're gonna go up to, we're gonna call it the paved driveway, and then they get that piece of equipment doesn't go on gravel, so it turns around and stops. Dennis has, I don't know what it is, not 850 miles of roads, 900 miles of roads, something like that. And a lot of people live in the country and live on gravel roads. And they've lived there a long time, and they gotta, with the help of the county and the help of their neighbors, they gotta find a way to get out. I am working with, I've reached out to Granora School. My first priority as far as the parks are in charge of the roads, so we gotta make sure the kids that go there can get to school. So I'm gonna get with Granora Public Schools, find out their bus route, and say, where do you pick up the kids? What is your plan? Is it always the same? If the weather's nice, do you pick them up at their house? If it's bad weather, do you have an alternative plan? What do you guys do? So at least that we can know that, hey, the kids are getting to school. After that, I've also reached out to some other people working with David Truckner to say, let's realistically, can we increase that group of volunteers that can run the association's loader? Because it's like David said, David's ran that plenty of different times, and he can and he's willing to, but he's got a job. So can we expand that pool of people out there that are qualified and able to do that? So David was going to work with me on that, and otherwise, I had a really good meeting with David. He was very much, hey, it's a team effort. We live in the country. It's our choice to live out here. It's how it goes. So, and he had a good conversation. Him and Dennis had a good conversation too. So it was a pretty, it got a pretty heated meeting when it got to roads, but we got through it. I do think we'll have to look at, as the county will have to look at putting some material down on the roads in the spring next year. There's definitely some low spots. Some gravel, no matter what you do, it just disappears. You know, down by the dam, going up and down both of those sides are two spots that we're gonna have to put some back in. So we're just gonna have to do that. It's part of our responsibility for owning the road. But otherwise, I think that the people upset at the meeting, sometimes people just need to be able to get their opinion heard, and they chose that meeting to have their opinion heard.
Was there any potential future city council members at that meeting?
No, but I did mention it as an
Okay.
opportunity.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Blacktail City.
Blacktail City, I
Yeah.
did mention it as an opportunity. Well, like I said, I had a really good meeting with Mark and David, and we'll just keep moving forward. Dennis knows the situation too, but like you said, I think I don't know, I know Brad, you might know better. I think when I talked to Mark, he thought maybe between 20 and 30 residents or homes are year round out there.
Full time, I think they're up in that 40 or 50.
Okay, 40 to 50
Yeah,
people, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, we kind of went through and it was, you know, all of them work. I mean, there's not many people. There's a few that are just retired, but not many. Most of them are working, and most of them, you know, and I think we counted 5 kids that go to school. They all go to Granora. So they do have to get out, but it's just got to be a team effort. It's never going to just be that, you know, I mean, if we pave the road, it might be different, but until that happens, it's never going to be that highway department's #1 priority is going to come to clear them out. And they know that. I mean, we just
So
got to.
who has been cleaning the road? The main loop road.
The main loop road?
Yeah.
Well, up until this year, almost always Mike Herring. In the past,
The
almost
main loop road was handled by Blacktail.
almost always on immediately, like right away. Like we get a heavy snowfall and we got to get out, and then that would be almost always Mike, because highway would do the paved roads, and then Mike would already be on it, right? Because we just, I mean, got to get it out. You go jump in the loader and do it. But Mike's health and recent surgeries, he's just not able to. So now it would be, well, Dennis will go and get all the highways or all the paved roads done, and then we're going to start working the other areas, start working gravel roads as we go. So,
Therefore, it would be treated like any other gravel road in the county.
yes, and that's why I talk into. Yep. But then that's also why, like I said, when I talked to Dave Truckner, and Dave said, hey, I'll be willing to help out, step up a little more. We just got to find a couple other people that, hey, it's like I said, it's not it's not the ongoing, the later on in the day or the next day when we're going to clean everything up. It's, hey, we got to get these people out so they can get to work. And that's just what we gotta, Yep, that's part of the deal too. That's why we got to get, like I said, Dave was going to kind of shake the trees and see who else has the ability to drive a piece of equipment like out there, and then get them to, hey, when can we, as a team, how do we get this done? Dave was really positive. It was nice to talk to him. So
Thank you for handling that meeting.
Yep. But so anyway, so that's where we're at with the roads. Just gotta, I think my role is, especially in the winter, is just stay in communication with them, make sure I'm listening to them, make sure I know what's going on, and then relaying that to Dennis and making sure that if there is an issue, we get a ton of snow, they're stuck, like I'm helping however I can, and at least listening so they know that they're not just forgotten out there. So that's the biggest thing at Blacktail. We did have at Epping Springbrook. Epping's one of those parks that we do have the ability to close the park if in the winter for whatever reason, or if the roads get bad. We didn't close it, but still somehow our gate got destroyed. I don't know what happened. Someone definitely went way off the road and definitely damaged their vehicle really bad and then pulled it out on their own. But our gate was destroyed. We had a gate down at Little Egypt that we put in last year for to get on the lake to go ice fishing. We actually took that gate we put it in and as what we were advised by the Corps, and it was the Corps from Riverdale that advised us, and then we put it in, and the local guys in the Corps said that gate's way too small for here, and it was just kind of tight for putting it, when you drive through, especially you got this fish house and whatever. So we took that gate, moved it to Epping, and then we bought a new gate and put it down in Little Egypt, put a bigger one. I think we got a 16-foot gate down there now. I think it was 12 before. So we just replaced those gates. Had one that was damaged, and so now kind of wanted to put a bigger one down there anyway, so it kind of worked out, I guess. Otherwise, I think we're just plugging away. Got everything cleaned up, everything ready to go.
LG.
Oh yeah, LG. Thank you. So Steve, we did talk about the blue-green algae that's consistently been an issue here at Epping Springbrook. I met with Nick Johnson, who is the executive director of the Bible camp out there. He said that his theory is that a few years ago they did some work on the dam. A couple years before I started working here, they did some work on the dam. They lowered it all. They lowered the water level substantially, and then prior to that, every few years, maybe they would get an algae bloom, maybe, nothing consistent. But after that happened, a lot of the water that was used to fill it up, they just had it run off. And ever since that time, it's been every year that it's happened. So thinks that, kind of thinking that that's what caused it. We talked about before, and Steve sent a link to a company, LG Sonic. What they do is they have a buoy system that sends out ultraviolet rays. Epping Springbrook Dam would take 3 of them. And it's a buoy system that sends out ultraviolet rays. And the way this algae or bacteria work is that it lives on the bottom of the lake, and then it moves up and down. And as it goes up, it catches the sunlight. That's how it happens. Photosynthesis happens. That's how it grows. It reproduces. It expands from that up and down movement to come up and get sun, and then it moves back down to feed and live and whatever. And then if it gets big enough and stagnant enough and hot enough, then it blooms. The way that this ultraviolet light works is it inhibits them from moving up. So then they can't move up. They can't get the sunlight they need, and then there's always going to be, I guess, always going to be some that's going to be living at the bottom. But it can't expand, it can't grow, it can't do anything because it can't move up. So these buoys move around. They're every half hour or consistently doing water samples. They're constantly uploaded to the internet, all the information, and then they're also able to modify the angle and the frequency of the ultraviolet rays they're sending out to adjust to keep combating this bacteria from growing. So like I said, they said that for us, it would be a 3 buoy system. Each buoy is gonna be would be $60,000. And then there would be a $9,000 annual fee for maintenance as far as the technology that goes along with it. I have talked to them. I'm looking for some case studies and some references. They're going to get back with them. I've also reached out to one of the grants that Nick brought was the Outdoor Heritage Fund. The Outdoor Heritage Fund is a grant by the Energy Commission. They give away anywhere from $2 to $4 million a year. So they give away substantial money. It's a 75% grant. So a lot of state officials are on that. I know a couple of them. Tyler Jacobson represents North Dakota Parks and Recreation. Tyler's originally a Williston resident, and he's now the director of Parks for Valley City. I talked to him for a long time about it, and he thought it was a good idea, but he's only been on this group for 6 months, so he's only been through one round. So then I did contact the director of Game and Fish and the director of Parks, kind of told them what was going on, and both of them got back to me. Both of them were very interested in it because they've both had areas that the same thing is happening, and they would like to see they basically said, we'd love to see it, that if it worked, because then we could use it other places. But they
Would
would
that mean they'd help participate in the cost?
Yes. Well, in
cool.
the grant, that was what the thing was. So the grant's 75%. So it would be, they wouldn't want to, both of them kind of said, we wouldn't really be interested in that $9,000 annual maintenance. But both of them were, if you can really show some proof that this has been effective in other places, they would both said they would support it for that round of grants. I think the next grant is March 1st. So they, but that's 75%. So 75% of 180,000.
Can't imagine what you'd pay in chemical costs trying to,
Well, and that's the other thing, right? Like
if you wanted to.
we use, for everything, I use as little chemical as possible.
What other options have you looked at though?
We've looked at, just, what's called, just moving the water better already,
Right,
getting fountains.
like a fountain?
Getting multiple fountains, and I mean, it could work, but the body water is pretty big and pretty deep for that to work. But it could, especially if you put it in the right areas by us. And then chemical, just what are the chemical options? So, I mean, I'm not 100% sold on the LG Sonic, but it's worth still looking into. The thing they predominantly used for is more for like water reservoirs for people using for their water supply. But they're also, when talking to them, it's also water reservoirs that are used for recreation. So it's not like, it's the same as us, except for we're not using it as drinking water. So I think it's interesting. They have a lot more using it internationally than they do within the United States.
So how big is this buoy? I mean, are we just talking about something floating around?
Correct, 3 of them.
How
And
big?
I would say they're similar, and I can't tell for sure. I'd say they're similar to this size right here. Yeah, I'd say they're similar to this podium right here. Yep.
Jeremy, on the maintenance, is that 9,000, is that for each one, or is that for all 3 of them?
That's for all 3. That's for all 3.
And how do they work up against boats and thing? I mean, that's just floating around, right?
Mm-hmm.
Strobe on the top or something?
Yeah, it has a light on the top, and it actually had kind of like a metal framed guardrail all the way around it. So it kind of went out a guardrail around. Right? Yeah, I'm not sure how it would make sense that somehow, but then again, I don't know. It sounds like also like they can be moved, like you can manually, like have a little remote control and drive them too. So they're battery powered, they're solar powered, and they got battery backups. So, I mean, I don't know if they just, if they just go on a path and they're just,
I don't think you've got time to be driving around the buoy.
no.
That's the
You should be
$9,000
busy
bucks.
enough.
That's the main, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take a remote though.
Yeah, right?
I think it'd be really interesting, especially if we get participation from a grant perspective. But then also, I think if obviously these things could be moved, you could put it if you knock this back enough that it doesn't continuously happen, you could move it to a different lake that's having problems. I don't know if Blacktail. Yeah.
I call it turning over, the water turns over.
Right.
Twice a year it'll happen, but majority of the time it happens, we see it for about a week
Mm-hmm.
and then it all falls back out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nasty, but
It is. It goes from, and it does. You're there one day it's blue and the next day it's green.
yeah.
The whole thing.
Pea soup green.
Yes.
Yep.
But yeah, I agree with Steve. I think that like it'd be interesting to see, like, is this something that could be for 3 years it does this and then all of a sudden it's not an issue and we can maybe, like I said, put it somewhere else. I don't know. Either way, I'm really excited about learning about it. Like I said, we still have a few months before we would even apply for the grant. So, and I know that both Game and Fish, like I said, the directors of both Game and Fish and State Parks, they both assigned their staff, kind of assigned us staff specifically to help me with it. So,
That's cool.
Yeah.
You got to think it's got to be much better for the aquatic life, the fish, the other, everything's got to
Rather
be
than
beneficial.
chemical, but
Or rather than even having the bloom happen itself, right? Like that happen. I mean, as soon as that
Yeah.
happens, that's not good quality water for them, for
No.
fish. So.
no.
and it's an oxygen thing.
Yes. The other thing is, right, like, I mean, the number one in my opinion, the number one day use activity for Epping Springbrook Dam is people taking their dogs there to swim. I mean, it is, but, and then as soon as that comes, you can't anymore. That's not a thing that can happen there anymore. I mean, and you really don't, I mean, your kids can swim it, but you really want them to. I mean, they're going to get sick if they drink anything at all. They're probably not going to die, but they're going to be sick.
Well, we hope not.
Well, I hope not.
If it doesn't kill them, it makes them stronger.
Well, right. It's going to make them sick, though. And then the same thing, I mean, not that it's, I mean, specifically the parks problem, but definitely a county issue is, as soon as that happens, which is always in July and August, now none of the kids at the camp are going in water either. None of the kids at the Bible camp, they're done. They're just not going in the water.
It's a small price to pay. It's a small price. If we're going to put this kind of money into these parks, this is a really small price to pay.
Especially, like I said, especially if we can get a grant for 75% of it. So I think it's a pretty interesting concept. We'll, either way, we got to do something. If we go through and we find out that, we get these case studies and it just isn't going to work for us, we still have to have some solution because we can't just be okay with this happening every year.
I think if you continue, it's a great idea, and especially if we can get the state to help out. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, like I said, they were really excited about the opportunity of, hey, we'd love to see you guys do this, and hopefully it worked. Because then now when other people have it, we can just say, hey, go do this.
Tell them they've got lots of opportunities if they want to jump on board.
You're looking for other case studies. We got all
Any
kinds
case
of
study,
things.
we'll try it out.
Okay, any other park updates?
Nope, nothing else.
Any questions for any other parks from the board? Next meeting we have is December 20th.
Mr. Chairman, one quick question.
Go ahead.
Has there been any resolution with the pickleball court?
I did talk to George a little bit, and he said he's gonna get back to me, and we do something in the spring.
Okay.
I ran into him at Waltz Market. It's pretty sloped. I ran into him to Waltz Market one day, and we visited for a little bit, and he said we need to get together before the end of the year and right in the spring have a plan.
It brings a whole new element to the game, I would
It
imagine.
does, yes. Yeah. So, yep, I talked to him, and he seemed pretty open-minded to it, too.
Awesome.
Okay, if there's nothing else for the good of the order, I guess we will adjourn. 9:40, thank you.
Thanks, guys.